Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time doing a new game review for 2023, and this one is on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Now, pretty much I had played the arcade port from the Cowabunga collection, which has all of the old school Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, and I've been pretty much playing the arcade port. So pretty much I would say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, or as it was released in the UK as Teenage Mutant Heroes in Time, was pretty much this arcade beat 'em up game that was produced by Kogami in 1991. I know with the NES port it was released in 1992. And what's actually interesting is the place where I work at, Game Over, also has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game where you actually play some of the old school arcade games. Now, I know there are two different ports to this, the arcade one and the NES. And I know with the arcade port also has you kind of picking four turtles with you and your friends, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. And the point I would say with the arcade port is pretty much having you and your friends coming together to battle against horde of enemies, as well as dealing with the dangers of Krang and the Foot Clan. So the premise of the arcade port is meant to feature how in the sort of arcade port, how April's reporting about the Statue of Liberty that is suddenly stolen by Krang, and it's up to you and your friends to go through levels, battling hordes of enemies, until you're eventually thrown in different time periods after Shredder sends you back in time. I know in the arcade version, you have basically Baxter Stockman, Metalhead, a character called Cement Man, who was based on the blonde monster from a Ninja Turtles episode, Toka and Raza, Leatherhead, Super Krang, Krang, and Shredder. Now, I know in the Super NES port, it's still got the same ones, but differently you've got Rat King, also Slash, you've pretty much got Super Shredder at the end. And I think, yeah, the arcade port showing you what they were going to do made sense, as you've got different ninjas to battle, ones that have, like, shurikens, other ones that kind of have, like, flamethrowers and other things, and yeah, you've even got Krang's Stone Warriors, as well as sort of dangerous robots and everything else. I think what's interesting is, yeah, I do kind of think the arcade port is slightly better, because one, I think at least they do something interesting with Krang's design for Super Krang, and I also do kind of think having Toka and Raza as the sort of fourth boss made sense, as not only did you have to deal with two villains if you were on your own, it gave you something to be switched on. I know as well there are certain type of 2 pizza boxes, ones that can basically recharge your health, or others that can give you a super move that kind of flatten down your enemies for a period of time. I also think, yeah, it does kind of feel a little lackluster at the end. When you do defeat Shredder, everything's okay. And I think Shredder's Revenge got right, which I think a lot of people can agree with me, is they actually do something with the Statue of Liberty and don't sweep it under the rug quite poorly. And I think, yeah, bringing back Super Shredder for the PS4 and other games for Shredder's Revenge made sense. It was basically a callback for you being switched on when dealing with a supercharged enemy. And I think what's actually interesting is, yeah, I actually do like the kind of time periods. One's back in the West, one's sort of on a pirate ship, and at the same time having to deal with traps, things that can flatten you, freeze you, and so long. And I think it's interesting how, yeah, the game has been referenced so many times in the IDW comics when they did their own Turtles in Time story, also the 2012 cartoon. And I think what's actually interesting is there was a sort of remake of the game that was developed by Ubisoft and released for the Xbox 360 in August 2009 and eventually for the PS3 on October the 1st, which was pretty much the time when 4Kids at the time had the right before Nickelodeon bought them and was working on the 2012 cartoon. I think to me is that, yeah, I think the arcade port is slightly okay. And I think, yeah, it kind of feels a little lacking when you defeat Shredder and everything kind of ends it there and there. And I think the game still deserves a thumbs up. It's still better, still okay, but still enjoyable. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.